Have you seen the chicken and egg memes lately? The ones that show chicken owners as royalty and comparing eggs to diamonds. If you are one of those people that sees the high price of eggs and wonders, is it worth it to get chickens? And is it worth it to start a business with chickens, selling eggs and other chicken related products? Today, that's what we're discussing with my friend Hafsa. This is the Homesteading for Beginners podcast, and I'm Mona Weathers, your homesteading mentor and coach. If you desire to establish a solid foundation for your homesteading journey, then you are in the right place. I'm here to show you how, in a way that is healthy for you, your family, and your community. I'll share stories from the past 20 years of my own journey and offer you actionable steps you can take to start and maintain a healthy homestead. Before we begin, I want to remind you that the free 2-week Homestead Income Digital Product Workshop is going on right now. We have, as I speak, 112 members in there. This workshop is only available for free or at all until March 12th. Right now, we're just getting started, so it's a good time to join us and learn and see if there is a digital product in you that you can start creating and selling to your ideal customer. As a member of this pop-up group, you also have a chance to win a big prize that I'm giving away to one lucky winner. The more you participate, the more chances you have to win, so go check out that link. Information and links will be in the show notes. Okay, we are back with another interview, and this time is my friend Hafsa from Instagram. We met on Instagram, and we were part of the Impact Bundle, the Homestead Impact Bundle last year. So we've just become friends on the gram, and I asked her to come and speak about a really hot topic right now, which is chickens and chicken ownership and making money with chickens and all the things chickens. She has graciously come back. This is our second interview, actually. The first time, unfortunately, did not record, and it was a really big bummer. But anyway, she came back to record again. So thank you for being here, Hafsa. I'm really glad you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So let's get started since this is our second time around. So I have a couple of questions for you. So first, can you just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and your background and like how long you've been homesteading and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So my name again is Hafsa, and I'm originally from the New York City area. I grew up 5 minutes outside of Manhattan. I've always been into homesteading and farming, though, since I was a kid. I always knew that one day I would move to a rural area and have a backyard farm with a couple hundred animals and gardens. And that's exactly what I've been able to do because I knew that since I was really young. And I've always been into gardening since I was a kid. I started working with farm animals in college. So on my college campus, there's actually a giant farm with over 1,000 animals. And this was 15 years ago to date myself. But I worked there part-time, and I had intended on going to veterinary school back then. It didn't work out for me at that time, but actually now, later on as an adult, I am going back to school to become a veterinarian. So taking care of animals, especially farm animals, is really important to me. You know, as I already mentioned, we now live in Virginia. We live in rural Virginia in the mountains of Shenandoah, and we have a backyard homestead with a few hundred chickens. We also have other animals throughout the year, and the focus is chickens. I love raising chickens. They're a lot of fun. They're really easy to take care of compared to other animals. They're very low cost. And in terms of educating others in the last few years, I saw it also as a really great opportunity to share with others how to get started, because more and more people want to get started homesteading. And chickens are usually the first animals that people start with. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. So what made you choose chickens over, just like you said, they were low cost and that sort of thing? What made you choose chickens over, you have this large chicken operation now. What made you choose those chickens versus another animal?
Yeah, so we started small. We only started with 5 chickens, and I just fell in love with them. I found them to be really entertaining, And it's nice to see them grow and mature really quickly because other animals take a lot longer to mature. Within 5 to 9 months, you'll see your chickens start laying eggs, which is nice to see. And then I also like that there's a lot of different breeds to choose from. And that's kind of where the addictive part comes into it. If you like to
Mm-hmm.
collect things, some of us, we have hobbies where we like to collect things, right? In a way, I kind of collect chicken breeds because I like to have a variety of breeds. So that's another reason why I love them. There's hundreds of breeds and they're all very different in many ways. So we have a few dozen breeds now. And actually, we grew to this point because when we started with our first 5 chickens, we were actually living off grid. And then slowly we made our way to this larger property now,
Mm-hmm.
which was already an existing chicken farm. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. For me, I'm simply a really big animal lover. And in 2020, I saw that on social media, especially, it's really valuable to be teaching this. And that's why I decided to start teaching about backyard chickens. And the more and more I got into teaching it, the more and more I actually got into the chicken keeping side too, because of all the questions that come up.
Yeah, and you answer the questions the best. Like out of all of the Instagram people talking about chickens, you are very concise and you give very good tips. And I just love the content that you produce on there. Um, so, what would be your best advice for someone wanting to get started this year with chickens? Because we see that the rise happening, and there's all kinds of things that can go wrong if you don't set yourself up right. So what's the best advice you'd give someone starting this year?
Know why you want to get chickens. Is it for eggs? Is it for meat? Is it for both? And do you want them also as pets? Like, are you also an animal lover? Because it's very easy to get attached to them. Some breeds are far more friendly than others. And the second is to do your research. There is an abundance of information out there. My resources are the perfect example of that. My hundreds of videos on my page. I do free live classes, especially in the spring and summer. So there's a lot of ways that you can do your research. You can download ebooks, you can get books at a store, you can watch videos online. But doing the research is the biggest part because that way you know what to expect or you have a better understanding of what to expect because you're not going to know everything until like you actually start raising them and you have them in your home or outside in your backyard. But when you do prepare, you'll know things ahead of time, like having to protect your chickens from predators or having certain supplies on hand for their health so that when they get sick, you can treat them or to prevent them from getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you want to prevent it if possible. So these are things you'd only really know ahead of time with the research versus once you get them and then you have unfortunate situations where you lose chickens to illness or you lose chickens to predators getting in to the chicken coop or to their run. And a lot of those things can be avoided.
And they're devastating if you if
They
you can
are.
our first set of chickens, we didn't realize we needed a top on the cage. It was like a temporary situation, but we didn't think anything was going to find the chickens yet. And it was probably a bobcat, got in there, removed some heads, that kind of thing. And it was really devastating because we just that night, that was their first night out, and then the predators found them. So predators is the biggest devastating scenario. We recently had a hawk inside of our coop as well, and I know you had a video of a hawk inside your coop as well, last
Yeah, I
year, right?
got caught in the net.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so preparing as much as you can, but also understanding things can come up regardless of how much you prepare, but you can at least know what could happen and try to prevent that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
biggest
go
reason
ahead.
why though is because they're living creatures. It's not like gardening.
Mhm.
Like you can start a garden and you could fail in your first garden and all your plants could die, but it's not that big a deal, right?
Mhm.
Compared to an animal, a living,
Mhm.
breathing animal that, makes little cute, cheap sounds. Like,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
something happens and that's why it feels so bad because
Mhm.
they're little creatures, they're living things. So naturally
Mhm.
you want to take good care of them. And it's not like we learn about chicken care, or even just about chickens in general, like the
Mm-hmm.
terminology or the fact that you don't need a rooster for eggs. Like apparently a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us don't learn these things in school, and most of us may have some experience with cats and dogs, but chickens are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've had that question come up before with the eggs, if you need a rooster. And in my our setup now, we don't have any roosters, which is the first time we've never had a rooster. And it's so nice because the girls are so much they're easygoing. They don't have the stress of having a rooster around. But and they're docile and they'll allow us to pick them up and all this. And I've never had this situation. All of them are like this. And so I thought it was funny because we handled the other chickens as well. Like these are handled as much as the ones that we had a rooster. It was just their little pecking order was different, I guess, right?
That's interesting because usually
Hmm.
when there's no rooster, one of the hens, usually one of the older hens, will kind of be
Hmm.
like the boss. She'll be
Hmm.
like the
Well,
flock boss.
we definitely have a flock boss. Yeah, we definitely have a flock boss, but they're all nice about it. I guess they all get along. Okay, so uh, now you generate an income through your chickens and your chicken farm, but you also generate income because of it. So will you talk a little bit about both of those things and how you generate income with chickens?
Yeah, so most people are familiar with the first part of what you said, generating income from the actual chickens. So for me, that's like ancillary or extra income. We breed our chickens really for fun, and it's simply extra cash for the homestead.
Mhm.
It's not like a primary source of income for me. It's just there because I'm already raising these chickens. So you
Mhm.
can make money from eggs naturally. We sell eggs throughout the year. At certain times of the year, like spring and the summer, we have a lot more eggs because chickens are laying a lot more at that time of the year. And but because we live in a rural area, we sell them really like dirt cheap. It's like
Mhm.
crazy. I think some
Mhm.
areas right now you could get a dozen eggs anywhere from $7 to $10.
Mhm.
For the longest, we've been selling 18 eggs for
Oh
$2.50.
my gosh, you're one of those people.
It's not me though, it's the area.
Oh,
We
okay.
live in a very, very
Okay.
rural area. We're surrounded by poultry houses and
Oh, I see.
backyard homesteads that also have a few
Mhm.
hundred chickens. So for us
That
to
makes sense.
charge, $4 or $5 would just be
Mhm.
extreme in this area. But we do sell eggs. Obviously, it brings in extra cash that helps pay for really taking care of the animals. And then at certain times of the year, we breed them. We sell chicks. We sell older chickens of variety of breeds. And
Mhm.
again, for me, that's really fun and extra.
Mhm.
The second part of how we make money, not directly from the chickens, but because of the chickens,
Mhm.
is from online education. So, about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I got on social media, on Instagram and YouTube. And when I got on social media, I knew from the start that people are able to use social media to build an entirely new business. And
Mhm.
I come from a marketing and entrepreneurship background now for close to 15 years. So
Mhm.
when I figured out that social media is not only fun and education, but it's also a way for you to create an income, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. And I looked at it as a
Mhm.
new challenge. So
Mhm.
on my social media, because of the chickens, which allow me to create content, educational content on how to care for them, as well as fun and inspirational content with homesteading and raising chickens. I'm able to create an income from that because I work with brands and making videos for major farm companies and
Mhm.
promoting the things that we're already using, right? Promoting the same products that I would
Mhm.
talk about anyway, things that we use daily, things that are going to help people have a smoother time with raising their animals, things that are going to help their animals have better health.
Mhm.
So, working with companies in promoting them through videos and photos, and then also educational content. I have an ebook and an online course, and I also help people one on one, kind of like coaching on
Mhm.
the chicken side and helping them set up their chicken area. I mean, who wouldn't want to talk to another human being and even for
Mhm.
like a 20-minute conversation to get their input and say, how can I better fix my chicken coop, how can I better fix my run, or they have questions that they're not getting answered, in a Facebook group or in a
Mm-hmm.
comment or a DM. It's a completely different thing to have a real life conversation with another human being
Right.
who knows what they're talking about. So
Exactly.
these are all ways that I've been able to monetize and turn it into it's a full-time income on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then through that, it spun off recently, as you know, in the last 6 months to a separate business on social media now, also teaching other homesteaders how to make money on social
Mm-hmm.
media,
Right.
and one that would be of significance to be able
Mm-hmm.
to take care of your household.
Right. And you know so much about brands. So if anybody is trying to get into the brand deals, they need to talk to Hafsa because she's got it down for sure. Okay, you had just said something really important because we are bombarded with information now. It's no longer when I started homesteading, there was not that much information because Instagram was kind of new and I was one of those first people on Instagram showing the farm pictures with no text, no captions at all, but now we have so much information, and like you said, with the Facebook group, you post a comment in there, and then you get 500 answers, and then some insults, and then some questioning your why you even have chickens, or why you even want chickens because you don't know that you don't need a rooster to get eggs or something like that. Like you said, that is so important right now, and I think that's the direction that education is going now. We're now finding people that can help us, like individuals that we trust and their opinions, and we know that they can gear us, direct us into the right direction, and that sort of thing. So I love that you said that, and I think it's just important for people to hear that because that's the direction that's the direction we're going right now. We need the right information from the right people, not just a lot of information from 1,000 different sources.
Yeah, there's definitely an abundance of information. Even a few years ago when I got on social media, I saw that there was a ton of information online. The one of the reasons I actually decided to teach homesteading on social media though is because I saw that I couldn't connect with anybody that I saw online. Like at that point things are a bit different. Now in the last few years there's a lot more people teaching homesteading.
Mm-hmm.
But back then the demographics were very different.
Mm-hmm.
And they still are, and I'm sure you can understand as
Mm-hmm.
a minority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I'm a brown girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like culturally I'm American, but I'm South Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things I was like, there's I'm gonna be that person that maybe other young women, other minorities, other people of color
Mm-hmm.
would
Yeah.
connect with,
Mm-hmm.
because it's good also to see different people and different personality types to
Mm-hmm.
learn from. It's not only the information, it's who the person is that's sharing that information, their perspective, their life
Mm-hmm.
experiences, right? That also makes a difference. And naturally connecting with people one on one if possible. Like my favorite thing honestly on social media is connecting with people, especially in the DMs
Mm-hmm.
on either of my pages. But at the same time, there's only so much time in a day to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There's only so much
Yes.
bandwidth that we have, but that's really where I feel that people feel seen. Sorry, feel
Mm-hmm.
seen and feel heard is when they do have those personal conversations. Because yes, Facebook, for example, you could post a question and get 500 comments,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like scatterbrain
Right. Yeah.
trying to go. Or even if you post something on Instagram is a bit easier to handle. It's a very different platform.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those one-on-one conversations, DMs, or even one-on-one on a Zoom call or a video
Right.
call really make a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I love what you said. So, what advice would you give someone who might want to start a chicken-related income source? Like, what direction would you give them?
I would first say be realistic, because in most cases you're going to have to raise a lot of chickens in order to make a substantial amount of money that would make you happy. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say substantial, I would say you would need to have consistently at least 100 chickens in your backyard flock to be able
Mm-hmm.
to offset the cost of the feed. Because and not just feed, there's a lot of other things that go into it. Just getting set up, setting up your coop, your run area, getting the materials to predator proof it, getting your feeders, your waters, and then obviously buying the feed, however often you buy it. All that stuff adds up. So first you want to make sure that your costs are covered, and then figure out how are you going to go about making it into a business. Are you going to sell eggs? Are you going to breed chickens throughout the year? You can sell hatching eggs in the mail. You can get a license to be able to do that here in the US. You can sell locally, really through word of mouth. A lot of people around here sell through word of mouth. They don't even have an online presence like anywhere. And they're able to generate $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 just by selling eggs and by breeding chickens throughout the year. So as long as you do the math and you're realistic with the time frame, how long would it take to get everything set up, the investment to get everything right, and then the monthly investment, and that's sometimes you're gonna have to figure that out over time as well once you get into it. And then you can start to see the return on that. But right now is a great time to be in some kind of chicken related business because people want chickens.
Yep.
They're like at Tractor Supply, for example. I was just at Tractor Supply yesterday and today, and yesterday they sold out of chicks in the first 3 hours.
Wow, I believe it. I believe
it. A lot of hatcheries that I'm in communication with also are already sold out up until late April, early May. They already have pre-orders where there's like, okay, we've reached our capacity. We can't take any more orders for the next 2 months.
Yeah, and this happened in 2020 as well. That's the same thing that happened in 2020. People are, because of the egg price increase, they're starting to think, well, maybe I'll get my own chickens. So that it's a great thing, but it's also, preparing people for this and all the education that you're providing. Like if you are thinking about getting chickens, please see Hafsa because she will get you in the right direction. And she's got a lot of free content as well. But what do you have that's coming up that people might be interested in?
Yeah, great question. So now that it is spring and chick days are here throughout the spring and early summer, I do free live classes to help people get started. So I have a live class coming up now in the next couple of weeks. You can register for. The link is on my page on Instagram at Homestead Hafsa. You can also send me a direct message with the words free class, and I'll send you the link to that. And then you'll be able to get access to my other online resources to help you further.
Yeah, and I'll include the links in the show notes as well. So that was your Instagram handle. Is your website a different name?
The website is eggcitedforchickens.com/free class. Okay. And Eggcited is spelled EGG.
Eggcited. That's great.
Eggcitedforchickens.com. So my educational, so my handle, my username on all of my platforms is Homestead Hafsa, but my educational resources are under the banner of Eggcited for Chickens. So Eggcited for Chickens free class, Eggcited for Chickens course, ebook.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So I think this was a really good redo of our first one. I think we chatted a little bit more in the first one, but this is good. And I thank you so much for coming back and sharing your knowledge and all of the great things. And I really appreciate our friendship that we've developed over the last months and year or so.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona.
If you're looking for more homestead income ideas, I do have the 101 homestead income ideas list that you can get for free. There will be a link in the show notes.